Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Front Office podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. Week 6, episode 2. We'll discuss the rest of the Sunday games, the Monday games, and Blandy's Banker of the Week. Good evening, Mr. Bland. It's nice to see you again.
Afternoon. Hello, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Straight into the starts and sits for Sunday. Straight in.
Yeah.
No messing about. So first of all, we finished off with Jacksonville Colts in episode 1. So we're on to the Vikings versus Dolphins.
Yeah.
Dolphins
So
plus for Dolphins there plus 3.5.
it's moved now to +4. News just come out last half hour or so that Skylar Thompson's going to be starting at quarterback for the Dolphins. Two are still out, and Teddy won't make it through the concussion protocol apparently. So Skylar Thompson's going to start. So that line's gone to +4 now.
So that's Skylar Thompson's first start ever.
Yeah, he came in. Well, yeah, his first start. He came in obviously after the first snap last week against the Jets, so he basically played the full game. But obviously, he didn't get any time to prepare during the week. So now they're going to have a whole week to prepare him for the game. But it's going to be a lot of what it was last week, where they'll hide him as much as they possibly can behind the run game. And just ask him to pick and choose his spots in the passing game.
Right. Okay.
And I imagine they'll be working pretty hard to scheme up a lot of touches for Tyreek and Jalen Waddle in this game. Very close to the line of scrimmage, and just asking them to get yards after the catch, basically.
I'll tell you what I've got in there.
Yeah, so it's going to run through that fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the latest on Tyreek's injury?
He's fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said it was precautionary. He didn't play the fourth quarter, but they were already in the process of being blown out by that point, so there was no need to aggravate it any further.
So in terms of the Dolphins, then you're starting Mostert, you're starting Waddle, you're starting Hill.
And that's it.
Yeah. And you're expecting a decent week from all of them, yeah?
No. I don't think you're expecting a good week from any of them, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because of the quarterback?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. There's not going to be... I don't think there's going to be many deep shots to Waddle and Tyreek. So everything's going to be congested around the line of scrimmage. If the Vikings can tackle, then they've got a good chance of forcing some 3 and outs. Vikings defense isn't the best, but no, I think it's you're definitely going to be looking at floor games for these guys as opposed to ceiling games.
Right. Okay.
And then that affects the other side of the ball with the Vikings. You can play Cook, you can play Jefferson, but because it's unlikely that they're going to be pressed from the Dolphins on the scoreboard, the other pieces, the Irv Smith, Thielen, KJ Osborne's, are probably not going to be good starts, I wouldn't say. If you can afford to sit them for other pieces, and you might want to, because it just doesn't look like it's going to be a pretty high scoring game.
Right. Let me short screen. Right, let's move on to the Bengals versus Saints.
Yeah.
Any update on Higgins?
No, we'll get that later on. Hopefully they're honest with us this week, as opposed to last week where they clearly weren't. His ankle from the previous week obviously was still an issue. So we'll just have to see. I have him on plenty of teams, so I'd like to see him by Friday get at least one full session in, as opposed to being limited all week. So we'll do. It's something to keep an eye on, but because he's so good, if he is active, personally, I'm going to start him.
Yeah,
because he's such a good player.
I haven't put Chase on here because obviously Chase is Chase. You're going to play him every week, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, and the same with Mixon as well. Although he's been absolutely dreadful this year from an efficiency point of view. He's getting so much. He's getting so much volume that it doesn't really matter. He's a floor play every week, and then you're just kind of hoping that his efficiency is going to improve.
Yeah.
And and at some point he falls into the end zone.
Yeah, sometimes he's only got one touchdown.
Yeah, then again, that's down to his efficiency. He's had, I think it's 8 or 9 rushes with inside the 5-yard line, and he can't get in. He just can't get in. And you saw it in the game against Baltimore there last weekend, where they went out of the way to start doing trick plays around the goal line,
right?
To try and get in and move away from Mixon because of how inefficient he's been around the goal line. So try to get in some other ways, and they still couldn't do that. So it might mean they end up going back to Mixon, but he's definitely got to improve. He's not been good this year a lot.
Yeah, and then the last one that I dragged up for the Bengals was fast becoming my favourite player in the NFL because of his fantastic ginger beard. Look at it.
It's a beauty, eh?
It's lovely, yeah. Would you play him this week?
I am playing him this week
okay.
in one of my teams, in 2 of my teams actually. One of them is the tight end I've had all season, regardless. But I picked him up on waivers in a league this just today because I have Darren Waller. So I need him to fill in for me this week. Yeah. But he's playing. He's a full-time player, and he's getting plenty of usage. He's seen a lot more usage than what Tyler Boyd is in the same area of the field. So even with Higgins out last week, it was Hurst where all the volume went to, as opposed to Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd has been pretty disappointing this year.
Yeah. In terms of the Saints side of the ball, when I was looking at Kamara's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't he? But I guess if you've got him, you're playing him, aren't you?
Yeah, he was good last week. The frustrating thing last week, if Kamara owner, is the Taysom Hill 3 touchdowns. But Kamara's usage, or the expected usage that you would like to see from him, was there back last week with Dalton under centre. Obviously, he's not looking to throw downfield like Jameis is. So as long as Dalton remains under centre for him, then Kamara is going to have strong usage. Once Winston returns, then Kamara is going to be less of a weapon in the passing game because it just doesn't suit Jameis to look in the short area of the field.
Olave, do you know the latest on his? I guess we're waiting for the.
He's in concussion protocol. I would expect him to miss a game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he might clear it, but I think with concussions, I think you look at least a game generally. So they did say that Thomas is expected back, so that's good.
Yeah. So especially if Olave is out, you're gonna fire Thomas up this week if you had him.
Probably, yeah. Probably because again he's the underneath kind of guy that Dalton's going to gravitate to in the passing game. I know Olave started off pretty well last week prior to his concussion, No, not Max Callaway. So yeah, with no wide receivers last week, he played the majority of the snaps. He had 3 targets for 5 yards.
So even with Olave out, you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, Jarvis was out last week, wasn't he?
Jarvis back?
Jarvis did. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I looked before and I couldn't see anything. It was just like last week's.
Yeah. But other than that first game, he hasn't gone over 25 yards since.
So in terms of the Saints you're playing Kamara and you're playing Thomas.
Yeah, that'll be it. If you wanna play tight end roulette with Taysom Hill, then if with Olave out and Jameis not being there, then you could definitely see some usage for Taysom again. But yeah, it's it's a bit of a roulette, isn't it? He played 29 snaps and he scored 4 touchdowns. So it's tough to trust, I think.
Tough to trust, I like it.
Tough to trust.
Give me about 1,000 tabs open. The Ravens Giants.
Yeah. So Giants are +5.5 on the handicap, and I think I'm interested in the Giants. Home underdogs, and I think I'm interested in this spot because obviously the Giants run through the running game in Saquon Barkley. It's come out today that his shoulder issue that he picked up against the Packers is a non-issue. He'll come through as questionable. As limited in the practice today because of it, but they're saying it's not an issue. So the Ravens' run defense is not very good. It's probably bottom 5, bottom 6 in the league. So it kind of sets up nicely for what the Giants want to do. The Giants can get Saquon rolling, and they can extend drives. They can keep the Ravens' offense off the field, shorten the game. I can definitely make a case for backing the Giants at +5.5 at home here.
Right.
The Giants coaching staff, I think, are probably one of the best coaching staffs that's around at the moment. Their in-game adjustments are absolutely superb, and their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, was the long-time Ravens defensive coordinator up until the end of last season when he got sacked. So I can see him having a bit of inside knowledge on the Ravens offense. Yeah. So the Giants defense is, I think it's average. It's definitely average. It might be above average, but because the coaching is that good, they've kind of got them playing above themselves. So,
so in terms of fantasy players for the Giants, I presume it's just Barkley and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Darius Slayton had a decent week last week, kind of, but he only played 60% of the snaps. The guy who they had out there playing full time at wide receiver was a guy from the practice squad. So all through the off season, they tried to move Slayton for whatever reason. They don't particularly like him, but he got in the field last week purely because of just running out of bodies to put on the field.
Yeah.
But even then, he still wasn't a full-time player. So he's again tough to trust.
Yeah. Again, the same with Richie James. You can't trust him.
No.
I don't know what's happened with Kadarius. I think he's still injured. Is he?
I think he snapped his 3rd hamstring now. So, yeah. I mean, Wandale is definitely a player to stash. If you've got a bench spot to stash him,
Yeah.
obviously this regime, they drafted him in the second round, so they've got a clear plan for him, and the Giants are just crying out for bodies at wide receiver. So if you can stash him, yeah. So what's that? It's okay. So he was limited. He was limited today. I think he was limited all last week as well, if I remember rightly, and then he was out. So they're kind of taking the long view approach with him, but he's got to be close to coming back soon. And the Giants need him. The Giants need him.
So in terms of the Ravens side of the ball, obviously you're playing Andrews, obviously you're playing Jackson.
Yeah.
The only two question marks I could see was Dobbins and Duvernier, mainly because Bateman's still out.
Yeah. Dobbins was quite disappointing last week. His usage, you see, he ramped up from when he came back against New England and played 50% of the snaps against Buffalo, and then for whatever reason last week his playing time dropped, and Kenyon Drake was basically their main runner last week, and it was in a close game as well. It was in a close game, so it wasn't like they got up and then could afford to rest him. So I think that they still think that he's not fully ready to go yet. So if you've got a better option, you might have a better option because of him being injured to start the year. So you could pick him up in the middle to late rounds. Then I would probably be starting your other option over Dobbins. But yeah, it was disappointing his usage going down last week.
Yeah. Devin Duvernier, thoughts on him?
Yeah.
I mean, he's done all right for like a punt returner, really, wasn't he, at the start of the season, wasn't he?
Yeah. But even with Bateman out, with Bateman in the lineup, he was playing 50%, just over 50% snaps. And then with Bateman out, and it was the same happening with Bateman. Bateman was the clear number one wide receiver, but was only playing a touch over 70% of the snaps. So not 100% sure what they're doing with their wide receiver. It's kind of just wide receiver by rotation. I don't know whether that's got something to do with bringing certain wide receivers in just to block, basically, or what. But Duvernay is done well. He's certainly produced to this point. But yeah, it's just a bit strange their usage with wide receivers, and the Giants' passing defense is pretty decent. They've got some half decent corners.
So we're just sticking with Andrews and Jacko.
Yeah, if you need.
So we've only got three. We've only got 3 players out of this matchup to play.
Yeah.
Barkley.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you need, if you need a fourth wide receiver to start, then yeah, you can start doing it. And you're kind of hoping for a long touchdown, as he's hit on a couple of times already this year. But to say it was it was a confident start, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, on to the Bucks versus Steelers. So there we go. Also, Steelers are plus 8.5.
8.5, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Normally this would be a spot that I would be backing the Steelers in. Mike Tomlin as a home underdog. He's got a very good record, but that was with Ben. It was with a good defense. He's got neither now. And he's probably going to be missing Pat Frymouth as well, who had the concussion. So I'd imagine he's going to miss a game. So they're in kind of a tough spot here. For his second, Kenny Pickett had his first career start against the Bills.
Yeah.
And now he's coming up against the Tampa Bay. So He's made his
he's in
first
the
two
deep end,
starts.
didn't he?
Yeah, he's made his first two starts against the top, two of the top three defenses in the league.
He's been getting a bit of stick. I think any young quarterback gets a bit of stick, don't it? But when I've been watching him, I think he's. I won't be too concerned. I think he's all right. I don't know. I don't think he's like that bad. Gets a good matchup. Then I think he'll.
Yeah. See, I like from what we've seen of him so far, he's not bad. He's not great.
Well, the thing is, if Trey Lance last season played worse than he has so far, I think, and it was all, well, he's only a young lad. Got to give him time. Needs like a year. Needs 2 years. Mahomes didn't do it straight away. It just seems like this lad. I don't know if it's because of his name or.
Well, no, it's the difference with Lance and Lance played 1 year at a small school.
Yeah.
At a small school college. Kenny Pickett played 5 years in college.
Yeah.
So it's a massive difference.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he was shit for 4 years. He was only in his fifth. Well, he was. He was only he wasn't on the radar at all.
He's just aged like a fine wine, like me and you, Blandy.
Yeah. But like the same thing happened with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow he wasn't on anyone's radar as a first round pick. Never mind the first overall pick. Up until his final year, and then he was the quarterback for the best college offense in college history. Yeah. But no, in his last year there at Pitt,
Chase might have had something to do with that.
And Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson.
Yeah. Hilaire out the back, out the backfield as well.
Yeah.
That team's immense.
So look, it's looking likely that Pat's going to be out.
I would say this is Fryermuth's third concussion in a year. So yeah, exactly, yeah. So I think he's definitely going to miss a game.
The next lad I had to put in here because I know you're a massive fan.
Najee, yeah. If you like slugs, Najee's your man. He's just not very good at football, and like the Bucks rushing offense hasn't been good this year. Certainly not what we expect out of the Bucks rushing defense. Sorry, but still the Steelers O-line when it comes to run blocking are atrocious. They're actually better at pass blocking than they are run blocking. So if anyone who's got Najee wanted to sit Najee this week, I probably won't blame them, to be honest with you, because Pickett isn't looking his way. Pickett's looking downfield, eh? So
the thing is, if you're a Najee owner, where do you pick him up? First, second round?
Yeah.
It's hard to sit him, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you probably. You're gonna be sitting in for someone you've picked up off waivers, Benjamin type maybe, or something like that. Yeah. It's a tough decision, on name value, but like he's just not very good.
Obviously Warren started eating into his.
He did, yeah, but he played a lot of that. A lot of his playing time came later on in the game when it was kind of a blowout. Yeah, it did, to be fair to Najee. But Tomlin's come out this week and has said that Jaylen Warren's going to have a bigger role in the offense moving forward because he deserves it. But he does. You just watch the two of them play, and he said one of these guys was a first round pick and one of them was undrafted. And if you just watched film, you'd struggle to say that Harris was the first round pick and Warren was the undrafted guy.
So in terms of the wide receivers, then obviously Deontay Johnson, you're a big fan of Deontay Johnson.
Pickett comes in his first start and normal services resumed. 13 targets.
Yeah. So you're playing him?
Yeah, I've got him in plenty. I played like this game. Steelers are going to get blown out. Like last week when they got blown out, Pickett dropped back 52 times. He attempted 52 passes last week in his debut. Kenny Pickett. Obviously, that's not what the Steelers want to do, but because the defense isn't very good and they're going to come up against a Buccaneers team who have started, now they've got their wide receivers back, and started flinging the ball around a lot more like we expect them to. The Steelers can't run the ball, so they're going to be forced to throw the ball just to try and keep pace. So it could easily be another, a 50-50 pass attempt game for Kenny Pickett again. And Deontay Johnson, being Deontay Johnson, is going to command a hell of a lot of those targets.
Yeah. Are you playing George Pickens?
You probably can.
I think I will.
As a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. Yeah, you probably can.
I presume you're sitting Claypool. I presume.
Yeah. To be honest, bye week starting now. If you needed a roster spot, you could probably drop Claypool. To be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't blame anybody. If someone needed a roster spot, I wouldn't blame anybody for dropping Claypool.
Yeah. So on the Bucs side, you're going to be playing Brady. You're going to be playing Lenny Fournette.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing Evans. You're going to be playing Godwin.
Yeah. Like Godwin had a quietish game last week. He still put up double-digit points, but they're just still bringing him along slowly. He only ran a route on, I think, around about 60% of dropbacks last week. He only played 52% of the snaps. So they're just bringing him along slowly. But yeah, if I have him in a couple of leagues and I'm starting it.
Yeah. So I guess the question marks are on Julio. Looks like he's going to be out, from what I've read.
Yeah. Again, if you need the roster spot, you can drop Julio. There's no need to roster him because even when Godwin came back, it was that game against the Bills, wasn't it? Godwin came back. He and Evans were full-time players, and Russell Gage played about 2/3 of the snaps, and Julio played 1/3. 1/3 of the snaps. It was against KC, wasn't it? And Gage played 2/3 of the snaps. Julio played 1/3 of the snaps. So we're splitting that role that Antonio Brown had last year, and neither players are good enough to be able to be productive from a fantasy point of view.
Yeah.
Splitting that role, they need that role solely to themselves. And even last week with Russell Gage, Julio didn't play, but Gage isn't good enough to command targets over Godwin, over Evans. Lenny had 10 receptions, I think, last week out the backfield. Yeah, Gage is. Yeah, he had a big game against Green Bay when everybody was out. Kind of a last man standing thing, which was similar to his career last year with the Falcons, where he was last man standing. There was no one left. He's just not a good enough football player to be commanding targets off the likes of Godwin's, Evans, etc.
Okay. Next is the Panthers Rams.
Yeah, Rams minus 10.5 on the handicap.
Oof.
This the Panthers have sacked Mac Rule. This has got upset written all over. I can't back the Panthers on the money line straight up to win, but the Rams can't give any team 10.5 points. The Rams are abysmal. I'm a Rams fan. the Rams are abysmal. Like they're so bad. They're so bad. And we got our best interior lineman back last week, and then he got knocked out with a concussion, so he's going to be out this week. We're on to our third centre. We're on to our fourth guard. Like the Panthers D line there is pretty, it's pretty good. Again, like it's not like what the Cowboys is. Obviously, the Cowboys is very good.
Yeah,
and that's why Stafford spent the whole of last week on his back looking up at the sky. But it's going to be it's not going to be as bad, but they're going to get plenty of pressure. They're going to get plenty of pressure on Stafford again, and it's the Rams can't give any team 10.5 points.
So in terms of the Rams players, you're going to start. 2 seconds. You can't start either of the running backs.
No.
Obviously, you're starting Cup. You can't start Robinson.
Robinson shouldn't be rostered at this point. Shouldn't be. He shouldn't be rostered.
Again, I mean, what round was he going in the draft?
5th, 6th.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't. You can't. Yeah,
I mean, 80% rostered here. They're just hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, you can't. Like, you can't roster him, You can't.
Yeah, the only Rams player I had, I was going to ask you about was Higbee.
Yeah, you play him because look at the targets he's getting.
Pretty consistent, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's garbage. He's not very good at football, but his air dot. But he's great for Stafford. His air dot's about 3 yards because it's Stafford gets snap. Yeah, it's pressure in his face straight away. It's his cup open. No, Higbee's literally stood next to me, and I'm just going to throw the ball to him there. Right, and that is literally it. That's why Robinson. I don't know whether it's a talent thing with Allen Robinson anymore, but it's definitely a schematic thing with the Rams where they can't protect Stafford. So he doesn't have enough time to go through his progressions, and his first read is always Cup. His first read is always going to Robinson is never going to be the first read on any play. It's always going to be Cup, and generally it's Higbee at the minute appears to be the second one because of the pressure that's in Stafford's face. So he's never getting round. He's never getting round to Robinson on that third read.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't actually know whether it's a talent thing with Robinson, but it's definitely a schematic thing. So until the Rams fix that, which I don't know when that'll be, we're getting these offensive linemen back, and also they need Van Jefferson back as well as a field stretcher because we've got no one to stretch the field.
Yeah.
So you can start Higbee because he's just going to catch a load of shallow passes underneath and turn like the tanker and roll up field.
Yeah. In terms of Panthers, obviously you start in CMC, and then that's about it. You've got just DJ Moore. You might not agree, but it's just if you're going to take a punt on DJ Moore coming back with a new coach or the old coach going, kind of get him involved.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Again,
because I don't think
when you've picked him up, you might think, I'm going to have to play him.
Yeah, I have him on one of my teams, and we start full wide receivers. I've got Biggs, who's automatic. Then I've got Kirk, Drake London, Curtis Samuel, and DJ Moore. That I need 3 out of the 4. And DJ Moore might be the odd man out. I don't know. I still haven't decided. But at least he's seeing volume now. Where the first few weeks, 6 targets, 5 targets. That's not good enough for a team that's not good enough. So at least the last 2 weeks they've figured out, that we need to throw the ball more to this guy.
Yeah.
So there is that to cling to. We'll see. But obviously Baker's not starting now. You've got PJ Walker starting. Might help. Don't know. Baker's probably better than an XFL quarterback. How much? I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah. It probably is. Probably. Probably.
Next game is the Cardinals versus Seahawks. We've got the Cardinals as favs.
I have no idea how Cardinals are favourites for this game. I think so. The Seahawks at home are definitely a bet, getting points. And if somebody just wanted to back them on the money line, straight up to win, I wouldn't talk anybody out of. I wouldn't talk anybody out of that because the Cardinals should not be favoured in this game. Also, you don't want to be backing Cliff Kingsbury as a favourite as well. You'll quickly run out of money doing that. So football outsiders, their rankings, they actually have the Seahawks as the best offense in the league at the moment. Yeah. They have the Seahawks as the number one defense and the number one passing defense, offense rather.
Right.
Which is bullish. I'm not sure I agree with it, but I'm not sure I agree with them being number one. But yeah, they're probably in the top 6 the way they play.
So obviously, Geno Smith's been a bit of a.
He's been superb, to be fair.
Yeah, a bit of a revelation, hasn't he?
Some of those throws at the weekend against the Saints, especially, I think it was Tyler Lockett's second touchdown. It's just a thing of beauty. It was absolutely brilliant. So the Cardinals defense is garbage. Their passing defense is probably bottom 7 or 8 in the league. There's no way that the Cardinals should be favoured in this game.
Yeah. So obviously you're firing up Ken Walker because obviously Penny's out for the season.
Yeah.
If you're fortunate enough to get Kenneth Walker last week or even this week, some people might have got him. Jammy Kid. Metcalf, obviously, you're going to be firing up, yeah?
You start Metcalf, Lockett, Walker. I'd start Geno Smith in the one quarterback league over Russell Wilson, over Matt Stafford. No bother at all.
Yeah.
No problem at all. Yeah. You'd start him in a one quarterback league over Wilson, over a Stafford. One thing twice about it.
In terms of the other side of the football, on the Cardinals, Kyler, obviously, you're going to start, aren't you? What's the latest on Connor? I'm sure I've seen some, actually.
So Connor is, judging by the moves that they have made at the running back spot, signing 2 players to the practice squad, Connor's not going to play this week.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be Eno Benjamin, and then they signed Tyson Williams and Cory Clement yesterday to the practice squad. So one or both are going to back Eno up there. Cory Clement, I imagine, will be the next man up for sure because of his special teams. Clement's pretty decent on special teams, and one of the running backs that went down was Jonathan Ward. He was a special teams player, So I definitely think Cory Clement's going to be active for the game.
What movie is it?
Rondale.
Rondale, yeah. We talked about him yesterday on episode 1, didn't we? Yeah, we go.
Yeah, we did as a waiver wire round. Yeah.
And I won't even bring AJ Green up because obviously your age discrimination.
I am ageist. Yes, you are correct. It's a young man's smart. A young man's smart.
I tell you what, that's Zach Ertz. How's Zach Ertz doing? Hey, bloody hell!
He catches the ball and he falls down. Like
sometimes that's all you need.
Well, literally 4.8 yards of reception, 4.5 yards of reception, 3.5 yards of reception. Like, oh no, that's not even a reception. That's yards per target. That's how many yards he's getting per target, not even yards per reception. So his yards per reception is probably going to be even less than that, isn't it?
So you're not playing it?
No, you can. No. Like, we have him in this league. I mean, you play him because he's going to get 10 targets. He's going to catch 8 of them and fall on the floor. Well, you've got yourself 12 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got to get Trey McBride going at some point, but I don't know when that'll be.
Right. Okay. So yeah, if you've been fortunate enough to get Eno, you're playing him. You're playing Hollywood.
Yeah.
So Rondale.
Yeah.
Rondale.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the Seahawks have got the Seahawks have got a bottom 3 defense, so I can see this being a bit of a shootout because neither defense is very good. Certainly, the Seahawks passing game at the moment is very good. Arizona's isn't, and Arizona's run game isn't great, but the Seahawks defense is a bit of a mess. So the Cardinals will probably be able to put up points on them. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to.
Okay.
So Rondale is a wide receiver 3-4 in the slot. Yeah, certainly see a case for starting him.
So the big one of the week, and it's on bloody Sky Sports, obviously. But I was wishful thinking it might not be. But the Bills versus the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is the first time that Patrick Mahomes is a home underdog in his career. The Bills are 2.5-point favourites. If I was having a bet on the game, I would take the Chiefs for the points, but I don't know whether I'll be doing that. But as far as starting players, you start Mahomes, you start Kelsey.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Are you starting Juju?
I don't think you should ever start Juju, should you? Like
No.
you look at well, he's
Maybe it wasn't Big Ben after all.
Well, he hasn't been good since 2018. Like you watch him, you watch him, and he just looks so slow and incapable of getting any kind of separation. And the Raiders secondary is not good.
He's still been getting targeted enough, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, because the Chiefs are going to throw the ball, early and often. There's only the Bills. There's only the Bills who throw the ball more than what the Chiefs do. But yeah, like Juju's.
Let's just say we're not starting him. Juju, not starting. Not starting.
He's not. Juju. Yeah, he's not good.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, he had his first decent game, 90 yards, against the aforementioned Raiders. Again, I don't think I wouldn't feel comfortable starting any wide receiver for the Chiefs.
No, especially against
That
Buffalo.
yeah. In a game that should be quite high scoring. What's the over? The over under is 54. Yeah, that might be a bit of a party pooper, and so you might want to look at the under here. But yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable
unless they
starting
get a good pumping off the Bills.
Yeah, but yeah.
Are you firing up CEH?
No.
So for the Chiefs, all we're playing is Mahomes and Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean, look against the Colts, he had 7 rushes for 0 yards and 1 touchdown, and then last week there he had 9 rushes for 15 yards. I mean, at some point, the Chiefs have got to activate Ronald Jones, because they're getting absolutely nothing in the run game out of the guys that they've got active at the moment. Pacheco didn't get a look in against the Raiders because it was a close game. Well, not because they were behind, basically.
Yeah.
I think he saw 1 touch. I think McKinnon had a bit of juice, but we know from McKinnon's history that he's not someone you can rely on a regular basis, because he soon breaks down, and Clyde's just not getting it done on the ground. He didn't get his touchdown this week, so he didn't really show up in the box score. It looked like he had got in before. I think it was Kelsey's first touchdown. It looked like he had got in on a pass from Mahomes, but he was judged to have been down at the 1 yard line. But we've said for a while that touchdown regression's coming for Clyde. He can't keep getting away with it. And it finally hit against the Raiders, and you won't feel comfortable, I don't think, starting him against Buffalo.
Yeah. In terms of the Bills, I've got some good news.
Yes.
So Josh Allen, obviously you're going to be playing. Diggs, obviously you're going to be playing, and Davis, obviously going to be playing. And I've got some good news. You just wait there.
I'm waiting.
McKenzie clears concussion protocol. That's fresh.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So
That's
we're gonna hope now he goes back into that full-time slot role because Crowder's out.
Yeah.
Or did Shakir do enough at the weekend to force the Bills to split that role?
Don't say that.
Don't know.
I like the young lad. You know what I mean? I tipped him up.
Yeah.
I need McKenzie to go back in. He can have next season.
You can't have, like, as it was with McKenzie and Crowder previously. You can't have them splitting that role. It's got to be one or the. It's got to be one or the other. It's got to be one or the other. When it was McKenzie and Crowder both splitting the role, then neither of them were any good on a weekly basis. So it's got to be one. It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
So you're hoping.
I'm hoping,
that, that McKenzie gets that role full time and Shakir doesn't impact on his playing time.
Mainly for me, my redraft, but I do have Shakir in one of my dynasty teams, but I prefer him just to come break out next season, please.
Okay.
If that's all right.
There's some news about T. Higgins.
What is that?
Okay, so T. Higgins is working out on the rehab field, so it looks like he could well be classed as a limited participation at practice. Maybe we'll see when But like I said previously, you kind of want to see him get a full practice in by Friday to feel definitely confident about starting him this week.
Yeah.
But me personally, if he is active, I'm going to start him again. I'll suffer that heartbreak all over again.
Right, what's the latest on Dawson Knox?
Right, Knox has got is it a hammy and a foot injury, I think. Knox, but as you can see, when he doesn't score touches, similar to last year, when he doesn't score touchdowns, he doesn't do much for you. And he couldn't keep up his touchdown rate from last year because it was one every 5.5 targets. I think last year he scored a touchdown. It was just a completely unsustainable rate. So touchdown regression's caught up for him. From what we saw,
nine touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he had 9 touchdowns on 49 receptions. That's not going to stick. It just doesn't stick on a yearly basis, does it? So, no, his role, what we've seen so far this year, hadn't changed at all. Hadn't changed from what it was last year. He just didn't have the fluky touchdown production this year than what he did last year.
And then always a head scratcher, the Buffalo running back to the scenario.
Yeah. Depends how you think the game's going to go. If you think the Bills are going to get up and establish a decent lead, but even then we've seen before with the Bills when they've got up and established a decent lead, they've just kept the foot on the pedal and just kept chucking it. So, yeah. If you need to start Singletary as your RB2, because you've got someone on a bye week, then chuck him in. He's in a good spot. He's a running back on a team that's favoured to win. High scoring total. Everything says you should start him. It's just we know that the Bills, if they don't feel like it, they can just throw the ball 20 times and only run the ball 3 times in a half. We've seen them do it 20 times before.
And just get Josh running about.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you have to start him, then he's in a good spot. It's just whether the Bills decide they want to use him or not.
Yeah. Next one's the Cowboys versus the only unbeaten team, the Eagles, 5-0 now.
And that will remain the same after Sunday as well. The Cowboys are going to start Cooper Rush again. But
what's caused this little crash here?
I think the news that Cooper Rush is starting again.
Oh, that Prescott's still out, yeah.
Because that's just today, isn't it? That's come down. So yeah, but I don't think that's moved far enough. Cooper Rush being grand, he's done exactly what you want a backup quarterback to do. Hide behind the run game and pick and choose his spots in the passing game. Just keep the offense on cue. The problem is here, where their defense has basically won them games the last few weeks. I'm not sure that's going to be the case against the Eagles. Micah Parsons is dealing with an injury, so that will be a massive hit to them if Parsons was limited. But the Eagles have probably the best O-line in the league. Certainly one of the best O-lines in the league. So the Dallas, it's kind of strength on strength, where the last couple of weeks, the against the Giants and the Rams, the Dallas defense has been able to dominate those two O-lines. That's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case here. They've been able to play defense, run the ball, and ask Cooper Rush to do very little. In this game, they're going to need Cooper Rush to do more, and he's going to be coming up against a good defense himself. So I can see I can see the Eagles winning this one quite comprehensively, to be honest with you.
Right, so in terms of Eagles players you're firing up, then obviously you're playing Hurts, obviously you're playing AJ Brown.
You start them all.
Goddard obviously starting.
Yeah.
That's
You start Sanders as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can start Sanders because as good as the Dallas pass defense is, their rushing defense is at best average. So, and we know that the Eagles' rushing offense is a top 5 unit in the league. So yeah, I think Sanders could have plenty of success here.
Devonte Smith play.
Yeah, you play him. You play him the last couple of weeks. He's been their number one wide receiver. It could be a case of what we spoke about earlier with the Vikings and Dolphins game, where one side's going to win quite easily. They're not going to be pushed from the other side. So it doesn't give you that kind of blow-up game for your players that you're hoping for. So we could see quieter weeks from the Eagles playmakers, but you start them though. You've got them. You start them.
Yeah. In terms of the Cowboys, you're going to play CD Lamb.
Yeah, you play CD, and
let's talk about the running backs first. So let's bring him up anyway.
Yeah.
Our old mate. Ezekiel Elliott likely to continue his high volume role.
Well, it has to be high volume, doesn't it? Because they have to protect Cooper Rush. So against the Rams, there Cooper Rush attempted 16 passes, I think. Elliott had 22. Elliott had 22 rush attempts. How many did Pollard have? I think Pollard had 8.
8.
Yeah, Pollard had 8. Yeah, so between the two of them, they ran the ball 30 times. And Cooper Rush only attempted 16 passes because they didn't, they don't want him passing the ball. For as competent as he's looked, he's been in good spots to do it. He's never been chasing the game, trying to get them back into a game.
So if you're at a pinch with running backs, that's not ideal, is it? But do you play Pollard?
Don't think he's in a good spot because he hasn't been used in the passing game recently. He's had only 4. He's only had 4 targets. He had 1 reception in 3 games for half a yard, 2 yards. So they've kind of, and Zeke didn't see any targets. I think Zeke's only had 5 receptions on the whole year. If I remember rightly, Zeke's only caught 5 passes. Zeke's only caught 5 passes all year. I probably wouldn't start Pollard. Don't think he's in a good spot. Although he's always likely to break off a 50, 60-yard run. He can do that. Zeke most certainly can't. But if the Cowboys get the way, then Zeke's going to run the ball 20 times for 4 yards. Schultz injured himself again, so
yeah.
But he doesn't have this. He doesn't have the same chemistry with Cooper Rush as he does with Dak. So injury aside, I don't think he can start him until Dak's back anyway.
And then Gallup.
Yeah, it's gonna tough sledding. They're still ramping him up after his injury, and I expect that to be the case again this week. If it is turning into a bit of a blowout, then they could quite easily just pull him out of the game.
So the only Cowboy we're starting is CD Lamb with any.
Yeah, with any great confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're now at the last one, which is the Broncos. Oh, perhaps this Broncos team, my word. I was looking at it before, thinking about who can I talk about here, and
there's only Sutton, isn't there? That you're starting. I don't think you're starting anybody else.
Yeah, let me see who I.
I'm not sure Keenan will play.
Yeah, day to day it says, but that was 2 days ago, to be fair. So I guess we'll.
Yeah.
Well, let's stay on the Broncos for now.
Okay, go on
then. So Jerry Jeudy, I mean,
the problem we have as well is that Russ has had I don't know whether it's an operation, but he's had an injection in his shoulder, hasn't he? In his throwing shoulder. So I mean, he wasn't good. He wasn't good prior to that. So after injuring his shoulder, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to make him any better. He, as everyone's seen that clip of KJ Hamler, being absolutely having half the field to himself, and Russ not seeing it because Russ has just got tunnel vision, and it's tunnel vision for Corbin Sutton. He's not particularly interested in anybody else. Judy's efficiency hasn't been great. I'm not sure he's on the two of them aren't really on the same page at the moment. So he's a tough one to start. Is Judy at the minute? It's only Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
As bad as Russ has been, if you're seeing double digit targets on a regular basis, you're pretty much an automatic start.
Yeah. In terms of the running back head scratching scenario.
Yeah, tough because you think Mike Boone showed a bit of juice the other day. But he's tough to trust with Latavius Murray. Like Latavius is not going to do anything in the passing game. He's a zero in the passing game, Latavius. So have they brought Latavius in to challenge Gordon, and they're going to keep Boone in the passing game, his role kind of separate, and then it's just between Gordon and Latavius. Don't know. The reports coming out of Denver, the game that Javonte Williams tore his ACL after Gordon had fumbled for the fourth or fifth time, was that if Javonte hadn't have been injured, they would have cut Melvin Gordon after that game.
Right.
Now that's easy saying after the fact, but they then went straight out and they've signed Latavius Murray, who at his age is not great, but he doesn't fumble away.
He does a job, doesn't he?
Yeah, he'll do what's asked. So yeah, is Murray there to challenge Gordon, and Boone's kind of going to have that the passing role to himself? Don't know.
Well, so let Latavius be the third down.
No. Boone will be the third down back.
Right.
And Murray and Gordon are in a competition with each other for first and second downs.
Okay.
Yeah. But
in terms of goal line, is it?
They don't get to the goal line, do they? They're not that good.
Yeah. From every time I see Murray, if he's around the goal line, he seems to have no problem getting in.
No. He's a physical back.
Yeah, he's a big tank, isn't he?
Yeah. He's
6'3", 230.
Yeah. So I just want to watch this week and see how it's going to play out. I think it's pretty hard. I think it's pretty hard to guess. I think Murray's brought in to challenge Gordon, but that's just a gut feeling. Nothing more than that.
In terms of the Chargers side of the ball, so obviously you're playing Herbert, you're playing Mike Williams, you're playing Eckler.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen looks like he's not going to play.
I'd say not, and then someone coming back from a gimpy hamstring, you'd probably just want to watch. But Palmer's been, I think he's been injured as well. But he's managed to play. But he's been since he popped up on the injury report, which was before the Houston game. He's been pretty underwhelming since. Obviously against Houston, one target, one reception.
Yeah.
But you can see his snap numbers were down before that Houston game, so he wasn't right then. He was a bit more involved last week. Obviously, his snap numbers have come up there.
Yeah, I think previous to that Houston game, every time either Mike Williams or Keenan Allen had missed a game, he had double-digit fantasy points, and
that's that's right.
Something's
So
happened.
you'd like to see him. An ideal scenario, ideal world, you want to see Keenan Allen be out again this week, confirmed out again this week, and Josh Palmer to be full participant in at least one practice and off the injury report altogether. And I think if that's the case, I think then you can quite confidently fire him up as a wide receiver 3, and hope for more.
Mr. Everett came back down to earth last week.
It's the nature of the tight end position, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did happen? Although it doesn't really show any snaps there, but Donald Parham came back. He made his return from injury for the first time this year, and he is a just pass catching back. That's all he does. 6 foot, all 6'8" of him.
Gee hell, a basketball player.
Yeah, he's an absolute unit. So he's come back. He came back last week. Obviously, didn't do much, but he was on the field, and he's going to pop up every now and again. Where before it was pretty much just Everett in that receiving role. Parham's he's not going to be involved enough where he's going to be a fantasy asset himself, but he's going to be involved just enough to be an annoyance to someone like Everett. Yeah, but the nature of the tight end position, you're just going to have to take it on the chin. But yeah, you can if you have Everett and you need a starter, I don't think you're going to find anyone better on waivers than him. So
yeah. Right, so that's it for the matchups, I think. Unless I've missed one. I don't think I have.
No, I think that's everything.
So just a quick run for our for any new watchers or listeners, this is our Fantasy Front Office Podcast League. So this is all subscribers and viewers and friends and whatever, family. So as expected, we absolutely smashed Guy last week. As we expected. And lo and behold, look who got the highest score.
Good lad.
Ryan again.
I was talking today in the playground at school.
All right.
Yeah, he said he was delighted that he got the highest score. He says he's just sick that it didn't come against us.
Well, Ryan gets the clap of the week again. That's 2 weeks running. There you go, Ryan. Well done.
Good lad.
I'll put the chapters in so you can just skip to this bit and you don't have to watch it all. But we're firmly at the top now. 4-1.
Good. Bronco Barry right in our tails, but Bronco Barry's got a bit of a problem this week with bye weeks, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. That must have been last week. Let me go to week 6. Yeah, he's he's struggling at the minute with his with his line.
Yeah. Just click on him. Who's he got? So he's got no quarterback.
No tight end.
He's got no tight end. He's got no tight end.
No kicker.
No kicker. No kicker. He's got to find out to replace that. He's got
Devontae Adams
no
out.
running back. Yeah, he's got no Devonte Adams. Elijah Mitchell's still on IR.
Tony's not playing.
Chase Edmonds has gone into witness protection. Josh Reynolds is on his bio. Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling, is Barry, this week.
We've got Nick, my chubby cow.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Let's have a look at our team. What's our head scratches? Oh, we got Eno. We got Eno on the waivers. So this
we did get Eno.
In episode 1, we actually said how much fab we're going to put in for Eno Benjamin. So it's clear no one watches the podcast, and we still got.
Well, I don't know. No, because we altered it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then if you look at the bids, there was one participant in our league who shall remain nameless.
Right. Okay. Paulo.
Bid $1 more than what we said we were going to put in for Eno. So Paulo clearly watching and listening. Yes, he was. Yeah.
But look at this. Hurt, Barkley, Chase, Brown, Ertz. We said we're going to be playing. Hollywood Brown, the best kicker ever to grace the game of football. Will Lutz. We've got Pittman on the bench. Click on Lutz, yeah?
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah, no.
Look at this.
No, we're not in 2018 anymore. I don't want to see the double-digit points from 2018. I want to see the miserable output from 2022. Fucking well.
That would have been... That 6 there would have been more, but that was from like 62 yards, wasn't it? And then he hit the post and then hit
Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah, he had his double doink.
He's a lovely lad. He's a lovely lad.
Yeah, 0 points in against Carolina in week 3. Yeah, cheers, Will.
I think it was windy that game.
Oh, yeah. Gales.
And then
it was you blaming Hurricane Ian.
And then, last but not least, it's Blandy's Banker of the Week.
The Banker of the Week, obviously, we're going to be opposing the Colts because the Colts are the worst team in football, aren't they, Anthony?
They are, yes, I agree.
They won a game. They won a game last week, did the Colts, without scoring a touchdown. I don't know how that's possible in 2022, but they managed to do it. Yeah, so we're going to take the Jaguars plus 2.5, getting 2.5 points.
Yeah.
Against the worst team in football.
Yeah.
I agree. That is the Banker of the Week.
I added the Banker of the Week into my ACCA. I won't say it's a bet, but so I've got the Falcons plus 5.5.
Okay,
against the 49ers.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've got the Jaguars plus 2 against the Colts.
Yeah.
I've got the Jets plus 7 against the Packers.
Yeah, I understand that bet.
And I've got the Panthers plus 10.5 against the LA Rams.
I mean, it makes you feel sick, but I don't know how that line can be so. Like the Panthers have scored more points than the Rams this year on offense. Like, for as bad as the Panthers are, they've scored more points than what the Rams have on offense this year. I don't know how a market can be priced up like this. This probably should be the Banker of the Week, obviously. But I say that, everyone thinks I've fucking lost my marbles, telling people to go out and back the Panthers. But Yeah, I really don't understand it. Really don't understand it. Yep.
Yeah. So you're off to Florida on Friday?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, very nice. Have a lovely time. I've got 2 stand-ins for next week.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
I've
good.
got a Tuesday night stand-in and I've got a Wednesday night stand-in.
You've not got them all both on together, no?
No, I don't know how it's worked out, but one can't make it Tuesday, one can't make it Wednesday.
Oh, at least you can do the other day, so it works out. It doesn't work out too badly for you then.
Yeah.
So you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, I love it.
When I'm over in the States, I'll be going to the Jaguars against the Giants, which is a week on Sunday. So I'll take some photos and stuff, and I'll put them on the Twitter account.
Definitely. And if get some videos or whatever else, and we can shot them up. I tell you what, if it was this time last year and you were going to see the Jaguars Giants,
I'll be hanging myself from the goalpost, I think.
But this year,
funny how the NFL works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Remember, you always have to remember that we know nothing.
Yeah.
But
anyway, have a nice time, mate.
Will do. Thank you very much.
And for everyone watching, please can you like, share, and subscribe? If you can subscribe, we're up to 41 subscribers now. If we can get to 50, I'll be buzzing. So if you just press subscribe, it doesn't even hurt you. It's just like, it doesn't even bother you. You won't even get notifications. Don't even press the bell. Anyway, thanks for watching. Good night.
Peace out.